Hello, hello, Ayushman. How are you going? Why to move mate into on the board? We're not going to deal with that too much, but I thought that I would put up a mate into for funsies. Golden boy, how are you going, man? Hola, 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 hola. Alright, I'm gonna play a few bullet games just as a warm-up. And then once we built up our clientele slash viewership, we're going to move on to today's topic, which is going to be the awesome games of a certain GM. Do you feel the Dutch step method is good to follow? What is the Dutch step method? Is that the same as the step method? Yeah, I'm looking for a game. And I'm not getting any for some weird reason. I don't know what's happening. Hello, play, bullet, give me one. Hello? Hello, Eric. Yeah, it's alright. It's definitely a path maybe worthy of trying out. I don't remember the last time I had to wait this long for a game. Especially for a bullet game. Yeah, exactly. Nobody wants that smoke. In the meantime, you can try to solve this mate in 2. It's actually pretty epic. Where is it? Here. Why to move mate in 2. Happy Father's Day to all of you who celebrate Father's Day on the wrong day, by the way, which is today. Oh no, we got game. We got a game. Let's roll. Oh yeah, I need to close this tab because I've got the same game open in 2 tabs. I hate that. Okay. Okay. That made no sense. Let's go here. Happy Father's Day indeed. Okay, let's actually... no, let's go with this rook. This might be stupid. We'll see. I feel like I'm misplaying this, but I don't see how yet. Queen e5. Okay, let's go. Let's go. Should have probably brought the rook back too. Okay, that makes little sense to my untrained eyes. Oh, he won the endgame. Sure, let's go. Sure. Not a problem. Now it is a problem because I blundered the pawn. Damn it. That was... that guy was 2,900. Jesus. Oh my word. Played absolute lemons. Like here if I had played C6, we're killing the dude. Oh me, oh my. No. I thought the board for some reason is a bit too low. Yeah, I am working on a new course. I'll buy it very slowly. Very slowly, but I am working on a course indeed. It is going to be an endgame course because that's what you guys need. And now we are not getting another game either. All right, it looks like a bit of a slogfest this morning, really. So I might just get into a topic, but I wanted to win a game of chess first. Yes, indeed, it's a chessable endgame course. Okay, here we go. Coach N against Coach A. Let's go. What? Okay. Okay. Okay, I have no idea what that is all about. Not sure if 97 was a good move. It might be not that great. That bishop definitely needs to go. Okay. This may be greedy, but whatever. I don't really see that how we're going to get hurt here. 93 back. Okay. Let's go here maybe with F5. Okay, he stopped F5. Or did he? I think he did. Alright. I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm gonna lose on time. Because that's what I do best. Oh boy, that was a dog poo move. Okay, now we can dream for a checkmate. Not sure how. But the dream is there. Oh, I'm gonna flag. Okay, never mind. Ooh. What? Yes! Hello! Woo! That was cooking, baby. Let me show you what went down there because that was so fast even I couldn't quite grasp it. Okay, so here is the deal. Here is the deal. This is what happened. Yeah, watch it. So I went check, and he played rook g3, whereupon I sacked the queen. The idea is that now the h pawn is unstoppable, but they can sack the queen. However, I thought that at this point, if I go here, I didn't quite think it through, but it was more of a feel. I can catch this pawn, but they can't catch this one, which I think is correct. I might have to check on this, but I think I'm correct. And yeah, therefore I win. And so my opponent instead, which is obviously the line they should have entered, right? Because there is no way I can win that in 3 seconds. But instead they allowed to keep the queens on. And now I have a mate threat. Now we have a mate threat. And they just fell for that. And that's, friends, how I feel complete for the day. And we can get on with our agenda. And our agenda today is going to be a beautifully entertaining Grandmaster who was a very, very strong force to reckon with in the 70s, 80s, 90s, early 2000s. And he goes by the name of Romanyshin. Oleg Romanyshin. And here we are going to have a look at how he's absolutely dismantling his opponent, Kerensky. Romanyshin was a very big friend of all Catalans. He played Catalans left and right and center. All the time. And so the first, 10-15 opening moves are pretty stock standard opening theory. No biggie. Hello, Happy Gilmore. Welcome in, welcome in. Queen b3. Queen c2 is stock standard here. Knight d2 is stock standard. Queen b3 is a bit of an oddball. Knight b6. I really could live without the annotations. Thank you very much. Knight d2. c6. And now he drops the queen back to c2. So the argument that Romanyshin applied here was that although he lost the tempo on going to c2, the knight is worse placed on b6 than on d7. Which, by the way, is a very good argument. It certainly is a very, very good argument. Please, folks, don't forget to, especially if you are watching me on YouTube, to follow me on YouTube, subscribe, do all that jazz. So knight d7, and now we are up a tempo for white because we played... So white basically went to c2 in 1-2 moves. Black went to d7 in 1-2-3 moves. e4. I should have asked you to find this move, but I assumed that everyone did. b6. Okay. What would you play for white? Let's have a bit of a survey early on. No answers. Nobody cares. Pawn to e5, very good chat. Pawn e5 is the best move on the board. We are transposing now into a French structure. This idea is known to theory. Note that black is not without counterplay because bishop a6 and pawn c5 break is coming. So we need to be aware of that, but it's still fine. Romanyshin opted to develop first every single piece and even the rocks. It's very epic, by the way, to see that you're analyzing a Grandmaster game and you're looking for, what are those crazy difficult things that they would consider that you wouldn't. But the first thing that you want to observe almost always when you are watching a good Grandmaster playing is how they do the basics. The basics. Development, central control, king safety. Look at this. 13 moves. Every single piece is developed. King is castled. Almost same goes for the opponent. Yeah, there is no invention of the wheel. The wheel, rather. There is no coming up with crazy unorthodox ideas. No, it's doing the basics well. Queen c7, and now we are playing our good friend's idea, e5. Light. Rook e1. Knight, the rook f d8. e5 would have been good. And here, Romanishin played something very quirky and weird. H4 is standard here, E5 is standard here. He played knight G5. Now, obviously, the threat is E5. But what do we do after H6? And I tell you what he did, and you will be somewhat surprised. I was. The mad lad pulled back to H3. The mad lad pulled back to H3. And now he wants to drop the knight on F4. And all of a sudden, the outline of an attack is beginning to take shape. Because when we play E5, the knight is definitely better placed on F4 than F3. Right? It keeps the bishop's diagonal open. The knight may be sacked on E6. There's all of a sudden a lot of things that can happen. That's it. Queen B8. Knight F4. Still keeping the tension on. But, yeah. Playing for an attack. Sorry, guys. I have a phone call I need to take. I will be quickly back. So we're good. We're good. Stay inside, stay warm, and yeah, maybe we'll do an indoor hit one day when you're free.
Well, I was going to say, do you want to try and do something later this week?
Yeah, potentially, but I will have to work on Thursday, Friday, so I have got limited time.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So I'm having withdrawals. I haven't seen you in a very long time.
Yeah, I know. So yeah, maybe an indoor hit at one point.
We're going to have to, because if it's like this, there's no way we could have got on.
Yeah, I know.
On any of the courts, do all that. So.
Right. Well, boss, no sweat. I will keep an eye on the indoor courts, and we'll take it from there.
Okay.
All right. Have a good one, man. See ya.
Okay, do it.
Sorry guys, I had to cancel my tennis lesson today because it's about 3 degrees outside and everything is frozen. Apologies for the yeah, for me ducking out like that. I don't like doing that, but I had to take this. Tennis coach is also very, very good friend, so yeah. Anyway, so we left it off with knight f4, queen a8. Black is obviously gearing up for either take followed by c5 or insta c5. But if I was black, I would probably take, and then c5. Hit e4 as hard as you can. Hello, Courtney the Legend. Today, once again, as usual, Anal is on the menu, and today we are analyzing some marvelous games by Grandmaster Oleg Romanishin. So now he commits to e5. Knight e8. And he looks upon the next problem piece. And he says, my next problem piece is the d2 knight. Hey Hex, so what do we do with the d2 knight? The natural course of action is knight f3. The problem with this move is that from here, we don't really have a scope for the knight. And we also block the bishop. So perhaps a different direction could be utilized. Where else could we go with this hoppity hop? You are already subbed, Courtney. And I actually have 2 French games lined up by Mr. Romanishin. How about that I just do the French for you because you already donated yesterday. And yeah, that's just on me. Nordovic, how are you going? Good to hear you. Knight f1 indeed. Well done. The idea is that we put the knight on e3. And from there on, we can jump to certain squares. You need to have a bit of a sacrificial mind to appreciate this idea, because even after knight e3, we can't go via f5. But once the e6 sack takes place, potentially the f5 square will free up. It is not unheard of whatsoever. a5 played, knight e3 played. c5 played, queen e2 played. As you can see, white methodically pushing all his pieces toward the king side. I would not necessarily want to go too deeply into this concept, but the pawn chains, the interlocking pawn chains, definitely give us a hint as to who is playing on which side of the board, or where they should. Now, what's particularly cool about queen e2 is that Romanishin is not bothered about the tension. Having said that, not bothered or being, you know, calculating everything precisely is 2 different things. So, what do you think he planned against this move, which is losing on the spot, essentially? Oh, you entered back in the poker room, Nordovic, did you? Good. Yeah, it is d5. And now, guys, all hell is breaking loose. This is where the beautifully developed white army is just chef's kiss stuff. So now if I take, knight takes, now the bishop is hanging. Let's assume bishop f8. And what is the killing move here? Sujit Ghosh, thank you. What do we do now? e6, exactly. Well done. Ripping the position open. And after takes, queen takes, believe it or not, it's already mate in 9. King here, check. King here, check. This is the one that is easy to overlook. Check and mate. That is pretty nifty. That is pretty nifty. Of course, this is not how the game went, but this gives you an idea of what white is cooking in this position, right? So, c5, queen e2, they took d4. Now, how do we respond to this? It's very, very easy to go wrong. What is our recommended move here? Bishop takes d5 is very close, Courtney. Right idea, wrong piece. So bishop takes d4 is the way to go wrong. Because now the position becomes completely sterile after takes. All the pawn tension is gone. The e5 pawn blocks this bishop, and this bishop is getting traded off. And after, let's say, trade, let's say you trade back, I play p5, and likely black is taking over and stands better. Note that knight a5 is not playable because your knight is gonna get trapped. But even if you just pull the knight back to e3 with the hope of a kingside attack, you're just too late. Now the black pieces come out too quickly. So the point is that you excuse me, need to harness this pawn tension while it lasts to break this pawn mass up. And that can be only accomplished if we take like this. So we want to lure the e6 pawn out in order to break with e6 again. Thank you, Colin Lee. I appreciate you, man. Good luck, Nocturnal. Good luck, good luck. Okay, so let's have a look. They didn't take. They played bishop c5. Obviously, now we know the move that we are playing here, right? Which is going to be e6. And again, you see how it absolutely wreaks havoc. Because after takes, e7 is hanging. And likewise, if I take, it's on, check is on, the game is over. Like, according to the engine, the best move for black here is knight d6, which just leaves everything hanging. So after knight d5, they desperately tried to keep the pawn on e6, the right defensive strategy, and play bishop c5 and just go like, you do you, buddy, I'm not touching this. Not happening. However, after bishop takes d4, now white is simply up a pawn for nothing at all. So black had a bit of a change of heart here. Lucky for us, unlucky for him. And they decided to take d5 after all. To be fair, now at least after e6, the bishop on e7 is never going to be in trouble. But this is not good enough to save the day. e6. Okay, let's do an easy one. Who can find the win for white here first? Yeah. The PayPal link is on my YouTube channel. The PayPal link is directly linked to my YouTube channel. Thank you, Twitch Unknown, for the follow. Yeah, so we take f7. King f7 is mate in 2. Let's see who finds mate in 2 fastest. Very good. So we have got queen e6, knight g6. Thank you, Nordovic. I'll take a look. Queen e6 check and Matutsky. Chess is easy. Now, here is a cute question for you. What would you play if they played this? Yeah, bishop takes c5. So we are not in a hurry to regain the piece that we can, because bishop takes c5 threatens to get a new queen here. So technically this becomes your free piece and this is still hanging. Now they have to play knight d6. You take, they take back, queen e7, whatever, whatever, and we are winning easy peasy. So after e6, they decided to play knight here. The big question now is, what are we taking, if anything at all? What are we taking, if anything at all? Yes, we take the pawn. Not the knight, we take the pawn. Now, to be fair, knight takes wins easily, right? But takes here is the spirited way to play this game of chess, because this leads to a checkmate attack. What is the key move in the checkmate attack here? DJ, I don't think I missed the mate in 3. You meant after what did we look at here? Knight df6. No. You mean in this line? No, I didn't. No, I did not. Yeah, king here. Where is the mate, buddy? Like, hello? I take it. What? Yeah, never mind. All good, all good. So actually, Romanishin took here, but this was better. Take, take, check here, and this is where you need to see a cool idea. Yeah, bishop takes g7. Bring on the hammer. This is the textbook case where if you draw a line in your head between the E and D files, you realize that the black king has 0 defenders. Absolutely none. Every single black piece is tucked away on the queen side. So even if we only have few attackers, and we have at least 2 and 2 half attackers, that should cut it. For example, king takes, check, king here. And this is where the key move comes. Who can see the key attacking idea here? Very beautiful. Oh, very good, Abumar. Very good. Very good. Knight h5. Mate threat. Note that rook g8 is mate. And if bishop f8, this is where the key move comes in. Rook e7. And now the bishop can't take because it's mate, and as a result of that, no matter what, it's mate. This was not seen or wasn't played by the GM. Shamefully, he took this, and now he needed to find another nice tactical idea. What tactics did he cash in on here? Bishop h3 is only a measly exchange. I don't like that. Queen g4 is better, with a very nice double attack on g7 and d7. But then I have still f5. So you start with bishop g7, because then after king takes we have the check to pick off the unguarded piece. No, I wouldn't. So, Nordovich, to answer your question, none of these are defenders. Like, they don't defend anything. When the king is this naked, a defender, by my definition, is... Like, you could argue maybe the knight, but even that's far-fetched. And to a large degree, it's a philosophical debate, which I always think is very non-productive. Yeah, but the knight is not on f8, right? That's exactly the point. But this is where we move away from the realm of real chess and we start a philosophical debate. And as I like to say, as soon as we go into philosophical, we lost touch with chess. So I'm not saying you are wrong, I'm right. All I'm saying is that you look at this. I mean, a king doesn't get more butt naked than this, right? Like, I can't put pieces on the board on purpose to make it more hopeless for black than this. So if I don't count this as 0 defenders, I don't know what is a scenario that looks like 0 defenders, right? Like, do you really want this knight to be here and the bishop here? Like, that's not chess. So you have to draw a line where you go like, this is just not defenders. That's it. And roll with that. That's the way I see it. Anyway, bishop g7. Good question, though. And the rest is carnage. Rook e8 was played, but... yeah. It can't take, therefore they die. Queen h5. Now, what happens here if king takes? We still go check, right? Yeah. So knight e6. Bishop f6. Now again, we have got some brutal checkmate threats. Bishop f8 and here we play the second best. What is the best? Similar ideas, but yeah. Queen e5, I don't think it does anything. Hey, Jazz! Oh, that's cute. I like that idea, but I have to check they are going to go probably here and drop the rook. You are right. That's beautiful. So maybe I'm wrong. King h7, bishop e4 check. D, rook d7. That's a beautiful motive. I realized that basically every chess move wins here. Rook e6 is the engine's favorite. To break in with take and then check. And if bishop g7, that's when we go double down on guy with no skills idea. Bishop e4. And now the threat of check and then mate means that I have to take this. But then I get mated anyway. Why are we going back to this layout? Because I have got currently more than 100 people watching this on YouTube. Whereas yesterday's 10. That's why. Right, let's see the finish. It's really relevant because everything wins here. Check. And it's all over Red Rover. All over Red Rover. Okay, let me bring up the next game. Courtney wanted a French. And this French game is very, very famous. Many of you will recognize it from various puzzle books. So let's see how we go. Romanishin Ivanchuk. No, I don't recommend the Jobava London at all to anyone under any circumstances. The only time I would recommend the Jobava London is that you have got half an hour to learn an opening in your entire life. That's the only time when I would be like, Jobava London. Jürgen, I think you're just doubling down now on the philosophy, but I suppose you are right. I mean, look, if you don't want to necessarily improve your chess, but you want to improve your chess results, then the Jobava London is a beautiful opening for you. If you want to improve your chess understanding, your chess skills, and you want to enjoy what the game has to offer, then set that shit on fire. That's the way I look at it. But that doesn't necessarily mean that I'm right. It is just the way I see chess and life. Okay, so all normal, f6, normal, castles, total main line. I'm curious, what moves would you consider here for white? There are multiple very good moves available. Bishop f3 or c4. One of them is very good, in fact was played. Is c4 just losing? I don't know, played it a game. How do you figure c4 is losing? So if I were white here, I would consider two moves only. It would be rook e1 or c4. The reason behind rook e1 is to temporarily defend the pawn on e5 since the check wins the queen. And c4, which is what I would rather play, is with the idea of blasting the position open since my opponent's king is stuck in the middle. And my opponent is clearly undeveloped. And that was played. Now black took the pawn, which... yeah, that's what I would have liked to see. What do we do now? A very important move. Well, it's debatable actually how important it is, but I like it a lot. Yeah, rook e1 I suppose is a move. And then castles. They played bishop check right away, provoking g6, and then pulled back here. And I like this a lot, because now it floats a fair number of threats. d5 is hanging, rook e1 might come, but we might find a different way to target the queen altogether. So bishop f3 played, castles played, and now rook e1. So we are back on where we would have been anyway, right? Queen d6. Black is pretty much dead lost already, by the way. Or very, very close to be lost. You've got to be very careful with pinching these pawns. Queen d4, I think, was the engine's favorite move, but that says a lot about how dire the situation is. Because now, even after the queen trade, structurally speaking, with this IQP, very poorly defended, isolated pawn, black is probably gonna lose that pawn. But queen d6 allowed us to attack like mad. Let's go. Moves, please. Yeah, we all like knight c3 a lot. Of course we are going to play knight c3. Very good. Let's go knight c3. CDED knight c3 is also good. So shout out to Jazz. But knight c3 by itself is perhaps even better. Very good. Takes. Played. What do we do? What do we do? Don't forget, guys, in the YouTube chat to smack the like button and all that jazz. Mr. Nordovich says bishop e3, but I'm sure, Mr. Nordovich, that you don't want to trade queens when we are 2 pawns down. Even if we are going to likely recuperate at least one of them. Queen trade is a swear word here, guys. We go queen e2. Queen e2. c4 is not defensible, and queen d3 loses by force to what? This is actually a beautiful line to calculate. Short and sharp, but demonstrates how one should think in chess. Queen e5, very good. Threatening the rook and introducing bishop f4 with unstoppable mate down here. But what if queen e5, queen d4? Very good, men. Head dog. Very good. Queen e5, queen d4, bishop f4 anyway. And now the queen trade is not gonna do it. Bingo. Very good. Okay. So queen e2 was met by knight f6. Ivanchuk realized that maybe it was time to develop his pieces. Unfortunately, he came to the party a tad too late. Queen took. Now the king would love to run for cover, but it would just walk into bishop f4. So bishop e7 played. Bishop f4 played, of course. And here our friend Ivanchuk played queen d4, which is a losing move. Does anyone recognize this from a puzzle book? Knight b5 I take, yeah? Queen b2. What? Queen b3 even. Queen b3 is met by queen b4, right? That doesn't look like a textbook win. So at this point, I would like to encourage all of you to type in full lines if you have anything to say. Yeah, no, queen b3, queen b4, and we got nowhere. Not good enough. Twitch unknown. You the man. You the man. So we need to combine two ideas. The first idea is that we want to play knight b5. And the second idea is that we want to sack on b7. And the only way to do it is that you go knight b5. Now obviously queen takes is mate. But the more important motive is that when you take this, that's when the cold shower comes with check. You have to accept it because king d7 is mate in 1. A sensational checkmate, by the way. And so king b7 is forced, and now check and mate. Easy peasy. Easy peasy. That's how you do it, ladies and gentlemen. That is how you do it. Alright, so I promised you another French, so I will show you another French. Shout out to Courtney. This time round, the opponent is German endgame magician Carsten Müller. Yeah, bishop first wouldn't have done it. So, yeah, after bishop takes, king takes, all we have is resignation, right? Because now knight b5 makes no sense and the check is easily parried. So, yeah, one is an easy win, the other one is an even easier loss. Okay, let's go. Same variation of the French, the advanced, but this time round we are going to look at c4. This used to be one of the biggest main lines of the advanced French. Bishop e2, knight a5, knight e2, all of this is theory. Bishop d7, yep, castles, h6. Now that is weird ass. To my knowledge, best is knight e7 here with the idea of bringing the other knight here. The whole idea of the c4 push is that black wants to utilize the b3 square by putting a knight in here, then pinning it, and then coming around with the next guy and pin it again. And then, yeah, generally speaking, after the masses of trades, I can poke my nose in here with the queen for a queen trade offer. And also black manages to trade enough pieces so that they don't really have to worry about too much of an attack anymore. H6 to me looks very weird. Playable, but weird. A4. Now we understand the move of the idea behind a4. We want to deny the bishop to pop up on a4. And then black castled. What would you do? Hello, Daniel Arrow, CSPD. '91 is very good. Played. Excellent job, Mr. Landau. However, the follow-up is going to shock you. They played f5. And apparently here, Roman Yashin played the best move on the board. Which I don't think many of you would have anticipated. Yeah, I'm not surprised about frequent endgame occurrences. Knight back. Yeah, that would be epic. Nice one. Now, so this is one of the cases where technically our pawn chain is pointing that way. We should be playing here, but no. Because we have enough pieces and enough room and enough reason to now blast the board open on the queen side. The capture is more or less mandatory. After knight c6, I think, yeah, we are just going to put all of our pieces on the king side, queen side, maybe even sack on c4. This is gonna be a wild one. Yeah, the engine already is hinting at this plan, which I absolutely love. So, yeah, en passant was done. 93. No hurry with rook b1. You can do it, but note that a4 is hanging, right? And I think that's why black thought that b4 was not dangerous, because you only reckon with rook b1, but that's not playable. But it turns out that we are not in a hurry. More the bishop, James, than the knight, because you want the knight to come in with the tempo. I believe you, Courtney. Okay, white's best move. Let's go. White's best move. Let's go. Knight c6, I wouldn't do that. That's a little bit illegal. Bishop a3, brilliant, Mr. Landau. We want to trade the dark squared bishop, so we have access to c5. This also allows our rook to come in from here potentially to take care of the pawn. Take, rook c8. How do we defend c3 now? No, because then bishop takes a4 is going to come 7. So we can't do that. Yeah, I figured I was just being a douche. But no, knight c5 is not really optimal here because, yeah, I can just take it. And when you take back, we're losing here, yeah? So, yeah, that's why bishop a3 was necessary. Take. Rook c8. And now knight c5 is a positional blunder. I think. Yeah, I would definitely not play here knight c5 just on instinct. Because I would be pooping my pants about rook c5. I don't know the evaluation of this, but I wouldn't even look at it. I would look at knight c5, rook c5, and I'm like, nah, I'm not doing that. Because after take, now the rook is hanging. I can't take this. And when I defend knight e7, it feels like black has a good game. Yeah, I'm down an exchange, but now these pawns are loose. All of my pieces are meaningfully developed. I'm not saying black is better here, but black has never stood as well in this game as now. So knight c5 would be my last resort. Whoa, Rengao in the house. What the heck, bro? I sent you a message an hour ago that I was live. Explain yourself or else. Faye Fireheart, welcome in. So, the question was, how do we defend the c3 pawn? And I caught you here with the reverse psychology. The reverse psychology, in fact. Because you assume that if I ask you how to defend the pawn, it's definitely not gonna be defended. But it actually is. And this is one of the most awesome moves of the game, according to me. Because it prepares, well, not only does it defend everything that needs guarding, but it also allows white to bring the last attacker into the game. What do we say? What do we say? Karpov would be proud, indeed. 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 97. Rook b1. Beautiful chess. Queen c7. Knight c5. Knight b3 was also very good here, perhaps even better. And now we have got a beautiful concentration of all the white pieces on the queen side. Completed by bishop b5. Once again, it's worth noting now that in the previous game I pointed out the lack of defenders on the king side. Now you see an incredible amassing of all pieces in the area where white wishes to conduct the final onslaught. It's like, wow, man. This dude plays good chess. Take, rook b8. Mine. It's me, Rengao. No, I'm kidding. It's Roman Yashin. Roman Yashin, Karsten Müller. By the way, guys, there are a very low number of views on my most recent YouTube video, which I released about an hour ago, or more like 6 hours ago. So do yourself a favor and check it out. It's actually an incredible endgame. Yeah, it was versus Mr. Tiny Grimes. Yeah, a5. I like this move a lot. In fact, probably best. Shout out to guys with no skills. Adu took this. Also very good. Took. I mean, if queen takes, then a5, right? With the threat of rook b6. So here, essentially, bishop c6 wins the pawn. Yeah, there is no way to take with the pawn because then knight a6. So actually, sometimes easy does it, guys. Don't forget that. Take, and bang. See ya. What is our move now? We are winning, but we need to be winning. We need to be the winning guest. Rook b6. Sack the rook, Levy. Sack the rook. Very good. However, I have a question for you. What the heck is the point? What is the point? Yeah, so the threat is a6. Because without that, it's just a pretty move that does nothing, right? But with a6, this is a little bit more than a pretty move that does nothing. It is now a devastating idea. Check, check is just game ending with mate next. So they had to take the pawn. Take. And now we need the coup de grace. Let's finish this off. Lu Wong, thank you, mate. Good to have you on board. Yes, so rook b7. You don't need to overcomplicate matters when easy does it. Is there anyone in the house, guys, who has got my Club Players 1d4 chessable course? No, the rook on a7 is irrelevant. The whole point is take, and now the bishop can't take because it's mate, otherwise mate here. Or if we go bishop takes, still rook takes, and one of them is gonna be mate. So you didn't miss anything. It's funny how most people miss that there's a rook on h7, and even that doesn't ruin the solution. That's hilarious. All right. You have it. BS. You are an absolute bullshit artist, Rengo, but that's why we love you. 1d4 club players repertoire. The reason why I'm asking you is because I played a game yesterday, which I want to show you, where I followed quite deep in theory the course, and I was very happy with how it all turned out. I will show you. So, Queen's Gambit accepted, and my favorite line is a super aggro pawn sack, a4, bishop b7, and e6. This is one of my favorite lines from the course, because of course it is a position that messes with black big time. Now my opponent, he played a very greedy f6, which by the way is also in the course, but with the addition of knight takes, pawn takes first. And I tried to figure out the difference, and I made a mistake because I assumed that we were just going to transpose, and so I played bishop e2, which is what the line is. If you go take, bishop b7, e6, f6, you are meant to play here bishop e2. So I thought that we were transposing, right? By the way, the idea of f6 is to disallow the double pawns and then want to take the pawn cleanly with the queen without compromising the kingside structure. Also, f6 for the time being cancels out the knight jumps, whereas fe allows both knight jumps to come around. So it looks butt ugly, but it makes some sense. So f6, bishop e2, and my opponent played g6. And at this point I went like, hold on a second. This can't be right. And so I thought about, I'm like, okay, so if this is where I was out of book at g6. And I tried to make sense of what was happening. And I figured that the biggest downside of them not taking this is that I can utilize this knight here. So I'm like, okay, screw it. I will go then in here. And I completely, like entirely forgot about a tactical idea that my opponent hit me here with. Like, I just totally overlooked it. Didn't even consider it. It played knight e3. And I'm very proud of the fact, mostly of the fact that I did not lose my cool. And I stayed in the zone. And I played the best 4 moves here back to back for white. So the idea is obviously that black didn't want to allow my knight to land on c5, which would have been absolutely terminal. Yeah. Like, let's say bishop g7, knight c5, this is catastrophe. Because this knight can't come out anymore. And in fact, I was going to shut down the whole queenside with a5, so they can't even go a5 themselves. May or may not be necessary, I don't know. h4 was the other plan that I wanted to pursue, which I did in the game too, by the way. Anyway, so knight e3. And I'm like, holy. So the first thing that you need to consider here is that are we going to take this? Or are we going to take f6 first and then take e3? What's your call, chat? Yeah, so most people here make the mistake of taking on f6. And this is a major strategic misunderstanding, because the reason why white is better in general, if at all, in these positions is because the difficulty of developing the black pieces and to develop them in a way that they synergize and cooperate correctly or well. Now, if I take on f6, I'm undoing the damage that e6 has done by releasing the bishop from its cage. And now after, let's say, bishop b4 check, although any bishop move is fine, yeah, bishop d2, let's say take and castles. Very likely e6 is gonna fall. And black is in no trouble whatsoever. Rook e8, and I'm gonna take the pawn. Queen d5, knight c6, rook e8. These moves are very easy for black to play next. Whereas, if we take the knight as per game, now the e6 pawn still serves as a wedge by keeping e7 at home and splitting queenside and kingside completely apart. Now I played knight d2, and this is the next counterintuitive part. That the most important thing you need to do here is to trade this off, which is counterintuitive in a sense that our bishop on e3 is definitely the silly bishop, but if you look at it from black's perspective, that's their only good piece. So to get that off the board is huge. So knight d2 played. Now after bishop g2, I actually did intend bishop f3, sacking an exchange. I thought this was genius. And after take, if c6 I take, and neither pawn can retake, and look at the back rank fest. I just thought that black was absolutely dead here, and of course I'm correct. Whereas if they take the bishop, I just take with the queen. Again, c6 not playable, and if rook a7, then d5 ideas also come after the take. Note how the knight is always the main culprit in black's troubles. So he dropped back to d5, bishop f3. This move looks like a pass, but in fact it's a threat. Now I'm threatening to take on a b5, and the rook on a8 is hanging because of the x-ray. So they can't just pass and play bishop g7 because now there is no retake. So they played c6. And this is where I went astray according to the engine. And I still don't understand the engine's move actually as I'm looking at it. What would you do here for white? Oh, excuse me. Oh my, I understand the engine move. Holy sheesh. Wowzers. Okay, I get you, baby. Knight e4 played. AB5 is the engine's favorite move, but I didn't understand why. What's the point after take? And I just figured it out now. Because the engine line goes AB bishop g7, and I just like, why wouldn't they take back like this? But I reckon that the answer is this. Wow. I wish I had seen this during the game. That would have been genius. The bishop is pinned to the rook. And the pawn can't take because after the check, the whole entire diagonal is forked. Yeah, didn't even occur to me. Like, I didn't even look. I don't think during the game I looked at this at all. Because I was still hellbent on making this happen. I was really, really keen on just killing the knight on b8 for life. Oppo played bishop g. I played knight c5. Castles. By the way, according to the engine, knight c5 is a serious mistake, almost a blunder. Because AB. What the hell is going on if they take back now? What is the tactic this time? I don't see it. Oh. Keep it simple, bro. And then I can just take this. Ah. Yuck, I missed this too. Yucky. Okay, so this was too smart. And now, according to the engine, it's actually level. I thought I played a 95-ish game, but now I can see that it wasn't even probably 90 in accuracy. What do we do for white now, guys? What do we do for white? H4. That's what I did. Oppo played B4. We went H5. And here, opponent lost the plot completely. Yeah, the end of the game is a bit of a meh, actually. He played Queen D6, which is a terrible move. Who can find here a sequence that lands white in a completely winning position? Careful with pushing Harry, because black wants to play f5, so this doesn't kill the bishop. They can actually escape here with this idea easily. So be very, very careful there. S Bandera B, thank you, thank you. Welcome in, welcome on board, buddy. HG, bishop h6 comes to mind. True, but I am somewhat alive here for black. Not a lot, but a little bit alive. Because what I can hope to do here with black is just to land on h8 on time. And it looks like most of my trouble with black is gone. It's easier than all of the above. Queen d2 first doesn't change too much, I don't think. Queen d2. Yeah, actually, sorry, I take this back. This is also very strong. Yeah, this is very good. I went very, very basic and caveman. I took on g6, I took on d5, and I played queen g4, and I went like, good luck stopping this. I'm very happy, Mr. Lu Wong, that you like what you see. Yeah, this was it. The game ended with f5, take rook f6. Here I fiddled a little bit with time, and now I went in for the mate And black is busted. There's nothing to be done against mate. They opted to take, and Matutsky. And this, ladies and gentlemen, brings us to the end of our stream today. I'm very glad that we joined the ride with me. It is now, however, time for us to move on. I'm not sure who is on. Is Ben still on? Ben raided us yesterday. No, Ben isn't. Alright, we are going to raid our friend Muesli. Thank you, X. All of my streams are amazing. It's because that's how I roll. Take care, you lovely humans. I may be back tomorrow, so stay tuned. And more good stuff is coming your way. Love you all. Bye.